evening, everybody. Welcome back to PSGL. George Morgan here and Jack Burnett. All the lights are currently lit here on track. And it is go, go, go!
Contact between the Mercedes teammates.
Denoso with a crafty manoeuvre up the inside. Masterclass from the Chilean.
Crucial championship points on offer here.
Do not count down Danny Beresne.
Longe has done the job. This is for the win between these two.
Freddie Rasmussen wins the United States Grand Prix.
Alfie Butcher wins for the first time ever. Lucas Blakely takes the championship. It's Barry Borman.
Jarno Opmeer is your champion.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's try that one again. I'm a little bit too loud. Let me turn myself down. Well, good evening. It has been 12 rounds of racing, and it all comes down to one final race. It is the Bahrain Grand Prix, rounding out what has been an amazing 12 race campaign. Matteo may have rounded up the championship last time out, but there is still plenty to fight for. For some reason, I've got a weird box on the screen. I feel like that was hiding a sponsor at some point. But we've still got a really great race ahead of us tonight. We may have decided our championship leader, but there is still everything else to play for here. As you can see, it is just me on my lonesome tonight. Unfortunately, Evan cannot be alongside me, so it will be just me taking you through all of the thrills and spills of this race. But, as I said, we have had such a great season up to this point. Amazing rounds of action, all of which have led to this very finale, and yeah, really has been quite the amazing season. Obviously, Matteo rounding out that championship last time out in Vegas, now meaning that Cameron Dowds is having to try and cement and secure that second place if he can, but it's not exactly going to be easy. As per usual, an absolutely stacked grid. Plenty of drivers in this one. So it is going to be just as difficult as ever to take the win tonight if you are Matteo. But if you are any driver on this grid, it is going to be very, very difficult. So we are just waiting for the ready up signal to be given. We've got 19 drivers in the lobby, and then we should be good to go, ladies and gentlemen. On the right size, I have no idea what's causing it. There's many problems with this stream template, whatever you want to call it. But I am looking forward to this one. We've got a great grid as always. I'm looking forward to it. Let me know your early predictions for pole position. If you have any predictions for pole position. Matteo is wanting to do a last to first. He's actually asked in the Discord, can I get a disqualification so I can do a last to first? So we can already tell where the championship, the champion priorities are lying. It's with a few bonus points. But the ready up signal has now been given so we can go racing for the very final time in this season. But What a great calendar we've got as well for next season. If you haven't seen it, the Season 38 calendar has been announced. And for us on Monday, it is an absolute barnstorm of a calendar. It was tweeted ever so slightly wrong. But we're not going to point fingers at who that may have been, but it was an absolutely lovely and beautiful calendar. If you haven't seen it, I'll flash it on your screen right now, because we are just getting readied up now for this one. But here is your 9-race calendar that will take us to the end of this game cycle. What an amazing calendar it is. Some of the best tracks on the game, in my personal opinion. I am really looking forward to one final season on this game. Will I be here? Will I not? Well, that is something for you guys to find out at home when we head to Bahrain for that very first round of the season. And to tell you what, I am really looking forward to picking up exactly where we left off, dueling in the desert. And speaking of dueling in the desert, we have got a duel in the desert to get on with. We are pretty much nearly there for this qualifying session, and it is going to be a good one. Absolutely no doubt about it. We are in for a treat of an 18-minute session here to decide who will start from the front of the grid here for the very final time. And this is the end of season bragging points. This is what you want to have. It sets you up for a bit of a good stead going into that next season. I do love that pink t-shirt, Connor. It is a very lovely... I've got 2 pink t-shirts, actually, but this is one of my favourite. Today's race, though, Peter, is Bahrain. The very final time we go racing, and let's take you racing for that very final time. Let's take you inside. It is beautiful, beautiful stuff. I've just realised I am unmuted in-game. These poor drivers have had to hear me blasting down their ears. Cameron Dowds has retired from qualifying. I'm not sure if that's a qualifying ban or quite what is going on for the Scotsman here, but qualifying underway now, ladies and gentlemen. For one final time, we go to 18 minutes of action here, and well, first out onto the circuit, as per usual, it is TF10 Dirk. And now we're at that point where we begin to reflect upon these driver seasons. And I think Dirk will be relatively satisfied with his season. Maybe, though, will have wanted just that little bit more from this one. I think his pace has been very good. Maybe not always had the luck that I think he... may have feel that he has deserved, but when you've got the likes of Matteo, who has been absolutely on it from the get-go, it really is difficult to even put up a challenge to that man who has now won 3 championships in 4 seasons. Obviously not all of those in PSF 1, but he really has taken it to the absolute extreme and shown everything that he can do. But it is time for all of these drivers to show us what they can do, because the first laps of qualifying are coming our way now, and it is Dirk to kick off proceedings here for that very final. For the very first time in Bahrain. We'll pick up here for season 39, but for now, season 38 still isn't done and dusted. Into turn number 1, taken very nicely from Dirk, now heading up and up the hill very nicely. Open that rear wing, get all of that extra pace you can get as well. These drivers, you'll see them pull over a lot to the left-hand side along there. You also see them pull to the right down the straight if they're feeling extra adventurous. It's a few tenths of a second, which isn't a huge amount to, well, a few thousandths really. It's not a huge amount to us, but to them it is the difference between pole and, well, not being on that front row. It really is very tight, the margins, but this first lap underway very nicely with Dirk. He's having a decent start to his qualifying session, as now we are getting through proceedings very, very nicely with Dirk, who now rounds out of turn number 14, I believe. Is it 14? Yes, it was 14 and 15. Now turn... No, that's 14 and 15. Oh, I can't read a track map. That is concerning. But what isn't concerning is going to be this lap time from Dirk. Actually, he's binned it into the pit lane. Not worth selling for him. But Kasperfak across the line now. Azam and Thales, well as Brando. Brando there in fourth. Will be disappointed with that. Thales in sixth. Oscar there taking himself to fifth. Quite a few lap times coming across the ball. Alex Lofer going up to third. That's not a bad lap time at all for him. Now we've got the likes of Moustache, who's about to come off the line. Both of the RBs as well. Rayan, who slots into fifth, and Marios doesn't set a lap time, he's just beginning his. Moustache slowest of the pile for the time being, but Marios beginning his flying lap now as well. There's only a few drivers not setting lap times there. Dirk, Alpha Gully and Hazara all not electing to set times, but maybe a bit of a strategic ploy from them here, as we are going to get through this qualifying session very, very quickly. Marios, though, doing a nice and tidy job. Oh, he's gone off the road. He's not doing a push lap here, like I originally thought. Maybe trying to just put himself in sync versus those around him. Using this as a bit of a lap to check everything's working. And, well, can't blame him at all. But doing a nice job, everybody, at the moment. Yoen, obviously the man at the top of the timing sheet, and he is setting that benchmarker time. A 1:26.165 is not a bad lap time at all if you are wanting to try and really blitz these next couple of attempts, which he absolutely can afford to do now. Now that he's got that decent banker lap time on the board, don't need to really stress too much about what is to come in this qualifying session, just because he's got a decent time that will possibly stand the test of time, but time will absolutely tell on that one. But now that we've got some lap times on the board, do get your predictions in for that qualifying. I want to see all of your amazing, amazing predictions here, because, hey, I got to do it on my own. I want you to be on my pit wall and giving me all of your thoughts and feelings here, because we have got so many talking points here because of the fact that it is, you know, the end of the season. Who is going to be good going into next season? Who is not? So many questions to ask. But we've got a couple of drivers on hot laps as Dirk is kicking things off here. He's on a flying lap time now, I believe, and hopefully going to get a valid lap time on the board. He wasn't able to on his previous occasion. What can he do now, though? Oh, he's gone wide again, so not a great lap time. Really struggling to get some pace out of the car at the moment is TF10 Dirk. But he has got plenty of time to try and find a lap here. He's not under too much pressure, but that time is limited. There isn't much time to get that lap time that he needs on the board with the place he's in this qualifying session at the moment. But, you know, he's still got 10 minutes on the clock. So he's got a couple more attempts, but Alpha Gully is on an attempt at the moment. Doesn't seem to be doing too badly at all. In fact, he's looking very, very likely to take it somewhere up high on the grid as things stand. So what can he now do as he comes round the final couple of bends? And who's that that's gone right up towards the top? I believe that's Hazara, who's had a really good lap time. But Alpha Gully has absolutely minced him as he has gone right up towards the top of the timesheets there. That is absolutely brilliant from Alpha Gully, who has absolutely set a real benchmark a lap time now. That's a lot, a real statement from the Czech man, who has absolutely taken an amazing lap time there to go P1 as things stand, but plenty of drivers now coming around on their second flying laps. Brando with a huge 10th.5 improvement there in Sector 1 as he heads into Sector 2. Could be absolutely about to put a real benchmarker time in here for himself to give him the best possible shot of taking P1 out of this one, but really anything's possible. We've still got a lot of time between now and that checker flag at the end of this one, so could be really interesting to keep that eye on everything in this field, see what happens and see where we're at come the end of this one. But it is not looking too shabby for him at the moment as we are progressing through his lap, and could be a very, very good lap from him as he's now rounding that final bend and up to the line. What can Brando manage here? It's nice and up to 6th. Not maybe the improvement he would have wanted to have seen on that timing board, but 6th is not shabby at all. Who's about to come across the line now? We've got a few drivers across the line. I believe that was Tales who's just gone into 5th place. That is absolutely what he needed in this qualifying session. But who have we got next? That's Azam there coming across the line. We've also got Ryan who's coming into the pit lane. He's not set a valid lap time on his lap. What about Alex Loafer? He's invalidated as well. A lot of invalidations on this run. Now Moustache up to the line. What can he do for TTM? Goes only 14th, so not what he would have wanted at all. Believe Dirk is close to starting a flying lap time. He's not quite there yet. Volakongan though across the line. What can he do for Shazoo? Only manages 14th, so a bit of a struggle for Volakongan at the moment. But still plenty of time for things to change in this qualifying session. Dirk about to begin a hot lap. Now Marios about to finish one. Where can he go? He only goes 11th. That is not what he would have wanted at all. So quite a few drivers looking a little bit disappointed here with their qualifying pace and form. Maybe not as they would have expected at this stage in qualifying. I'm not sure if there's anybody on a hot lap other than the man on your screen at the moment. A bit of Casper Flack maybe on a push lap, I'm not quite sure. Nope, he's backed off of that attempt. So it seems like everybody's on in laps minus Dirk, who is on a push lap. He is not invalidated at this point in the lap, so is looking better than some of his previous attempts, but is it looking competitive? Well, it does seem to be attacking this lap quite hard here, so not doing too bad at all. So now heading up the hill here and towards the end of that Sector 2. What's it going to be for TF10 Dirk? Well, it's a 105. That's not looking bad at all. Not the fastest sector times we've seen. In fact, he's looking about 4 or 5 tenths off the pace, actually. That's not what he would have wanted. He's hoping for a good third and final sector here to try and round off this lap, because he does need a good lap on the board here if he wants a bit of confidence to take forward to these final runs. He does go into 6th. Not sure where that time came from. It's all in the third and final sector, because those first 2 sectors did not reflect the lap that he has put together there. About 2 tenths off in Sector 2, a tenth or 2 off in Sector 1 as well. So maybe the pace not quite as there in those first 2 sectors, but in that third sector, finding a lot of time. TF10 Dirk up to that 6th place, but now we've got a few more drivers trying to respond. A few on out laps. Zara, I believe, on a hot lap, as well as the man on your screen, Alpha Gully, who's in 6th, improving in 2nd, improving in that Sector 1 again. That is exactly what he is going to want to see. Green, green, green as he heads through this lap. So now let's see what he is able to do here, as my graphics break on me, which is always lovely. But Alpha Gully doing a nice job at the moment as he heads up through that Sector 2. Really doing a really good job. Really impressed to see the job he's doing here. So what's he doing now as he comes across the line? Is he improving by enough to take that P1 back? Absolutely he is. Goes into the 126.0s and sets that benchmark just that little bit higher, just that little bit harder to achieve as well. Really good job from him now as he is really showing some promising pace in this qualifying session. But what about Alex Loafer? He's improving as well. He's got a purple sector 1 time. He's got a green sector 2. Hopefully the driver tracker is going to work now, so you can see those sector times as well. You can. For some reason the position's not showing, but that's not important. He's invalidated as well, so not ideal for Alex Loafer there. He was on a decent lap, but not quite what he would have been hoping for and expecting out of this one. But we are not looking too shabby. Casper Flack is on a lap time as well, but he's not improving there as he goes down the sector 1. He was improving, but not anymore. Brando, though, is on a lap. He's very much on the edge of an improvement here. Tales is on a lap as well. He's not improving either. So keeping an eye on all of these sector types. But Brando has a chance to improve here as he goes through the final corners now. Only a little bit of time in it. He weaves and wiggles down the straight. That's a sign that he's not going to finish that one. Wasn't happy at all. Casper Flack, though, is going to be happy to see a 2/10 improvement there through Sector 1 versus Sector 2. It's a purple Sector 2 as well for the Kick Sauber. So now, coming round the final couple of corners here, what can he do? As now up to the line, Casper Flack will head. He's 11th at the moment. Where can he go in this qualifying session? Well, up to 6th. That is not bad at all, matching where his teammate is at the moment. That is what you want to do in this sort of place. Max van der Geest improving in Sector 1 ever so slightly. What about this Sector 2? Well, he's about to cross that timing line now. He's improving again, not by a huge amount, but he is improving, and that's exactly what he's going to want to see when it is getting towards that do or die time in qualifying. But here we go, up to the line. What can he do? Invalidated into the pit lane, saving the best for last, perhaps, as now we are getting pretty much right at the end of this qualifying session. We should, hopefully, fingers crossed, get quite a lot of good lap times here. Marios is on a lap. Is it an improvement lap, or will he come into the pit lane to change tyres? Well, he is going to set this lap time. Where's it going to take him to? 12th. Stays 12th. Not a huge improvement there for Marios. I think he'll be disappointed with the decision to stay out on that one. May not have fully been worth it, but Casper Flack, Moustache, sorry, will be the first driver to begin the final flying hot laps here in this qualifying session as he rounds the final bend. Let's ride on board with Moustache as we head down towards turn number 1. You'll see them hugging the right hand side of the pit wall here. It does gain them ever so marginal amounts, but it does indeed gain them a little bit of pace in towards turn number 1 now. Taking that very, very nicely. A little bit of a rear end wiggle. Really seems to be struggling on that rear end Moustache, but is it going to pay dividends here? A bit of a rear loose end can help you get it through the corners a little bit if you don't get those snaps too heavy. But looking like a decent Sector 1 time, an improvement of about a 10th. So that is not looking bad at all for Moustache, but now heading in towards that Sector 2, and well, this corner here, turns 10 and 11, very tricky to get right, lap after lap. You'll see pretty much every driver lock up into there, and no surprise, it is one of the trickiest corners on the Formula 1 calendar, and well, they are having to really try and tackle that one very, very sweetly with the throttle pedal and that brake pedal as well, to try and not damage the tyres anymore than absolutely necessary to slow it down. A 10th and a half improvement for Moustache. That will see him jump up a couple of places, but this third and final sector needs to be good in order to do that. So let's see what he can do. Currently 17th at the moment, not where he'd want to be at all, but can he improve and take himself up the order? Well, It's an improvement by a tenth and a half, but not an improvement to a place he may have wanted to be. Who's going to be, though, next to cross the line? Well, it's going to be Hazara, who's the man on your screen right now. 2 green sectors is a good start to a good lap, but is this third and final sector going to carry him to new heights in this qualifying session? Well, across the final corner and up to the line, it's not an improvement by enough to take him up any places. I think that'll be a little bit disappointing for the Norwegian, but Alex Lofer next across that line is going to hopefully take a real stride in the Sauber. Well, up to second, that's a real decent improvement for him. Now Azam up to the line, so it goes on to that provisional pole position here now. Alpha Gully is going to be the next man to come across the line to try and take back this pole position. It's a purple sector 1, a green sector 2. It isn't enough, though, to take pole position back from Azam, who has gone into the 1 minute 25s. That is an outrageous lap time from Azam, who's taken pole position at the moment, but can anybody do anything to stop him? Well, it doesn't look likely, as Dirk is the final man to come across the line. He's improving marginally, but I don't think he's improving enough to do anything to stop Azam, who's out in front by an absolute margin. Dirk across the line, not an improvement that will take him anywhere close to the man on pole position. Azam by 0.2 of a second on pole position here in Bahrain. What an interesting story that one is. So Azam on pole position here, followed by Alpha Gully, Alex Lofer, Ryderdale, Yoen, Brando, Casper Flack, Dirk, Oscar, Ryan, Talles, Hazara, Marius, Volokongen, Max van der Geest, Rayan, Moustache, Cameron Dowds, Renz, and Matteo, who has disqualified, rounding out the grid. Well, we have got an amazing race on our hands. We will be back in just a moment after a quick word from our sponsors. Well, welcome back after that short little break from our sponsors. We have got a real great race, I think, going on in a couple of moments' time. Really looking forward to this one. Seeing a few comments about the microphone. I'm just going to see if I can fix that. I think I might happen to know what that is. Change the setting about, and of course, that makes everything go a little bit pear-shaped, but what didn't go pear-shaped was that qualifying session for Azam. That was an absolutely brilliant qualifying session for him. Absolutely sublime stuff. Right when you needed it, literally spot on. Everything you would have needed out of that one. Right. I am aware that I am probably now a lot quieter. I absolutely am. And hopefully the quality should be a little bit better now, because it's not going to peak quite as much, I think. I think that was what was causing some of the issues, but let's unpick that qualifying session. 18 minutes of really good fun around Bahrain. Such a good circuit, such a fun circuit to drive around, I think. I really enjoy driving around Bahrain. It can throw a few surprises, and there is a lot of talk going on in the Discord. Really, really interesting. Talk of qualifying bans, talk of positions as well. Everybody is congratulating the man on pole, Azam, for what is quite honestly one of probably the best pole position laps I have seen. Ryan is confused. how he is P10. That is crazy. Really. Crazy stuff here. But everybody is getting themselves sorted. We're back in the lobby, and we are just waiting for the grid to be set. Azam is on such good form with that lap time. I've seen a lot of drivers do laps, but that is probably the closest to perfect lap I have seen for a good while. Really is. You know, a bit of disrespect being thrown as well. Courtesy of a few people, but Yoan asking about if Evan's commentating. The answer is no. It is just me on my lonesome, unfortunately. Yeah, not sure where Evan is, but whatever he is up to, I hope he is having a very, very nice time. But let's unpick some kind of form going into this round, because we mentioned about Azam and how he has been on good form recently. He's had 3 podiums in the last 4 rounds, and he didn't start in Japan. So he actually has had 3 podiums out of the last 3 races he's competed in, which I think is really phenomenal for him. Really showing some good pace and promise towards the end of the season. His results earlier on are kind of quite mid-table, so you're looking lower points, kind of just outside the points, but recently his form has been at another level. Whatever he has been eating for breakfast has really been working, but it hasn't been enough to dethrone anyone, really. He's gaining some positions in the championship, but there is a real gap between himself and Oscar, who's ahead. But yeah, looking really good for Azam tonight. Looking at the rest of the standings as well, you've got a real battle between Renz Thomason and Cameron Dowds, both of whom are 2nd and 3rd in the championship. Only 3 points separating the two. They can't take the championship anymore, but they can fight for positions around that. But going to be really interesting to see what we've got ahead of us. But we are gearing up towards the race now. Everybody is beginning to ready up now as the signal has been given. We're only a few short moments away from the Bahrain Grand Prix. And it's going to be a really good one. I'm really looking forward to this one. But in case this is your first time watching a PSGL stream, or it's the first time you have seen the Bahrain International Circuit, here is that lovely track map for you. It is one of the best circuits on the calendar. 15 turns and, 3 DRS zones, all of which make for a very quick, very flowing, and very fast lap time. Key overtaking opportunities are going to be that long braking zone into turn number 1, but also turn number 3 and turn 12 as well. But expect some drivers to be a little bit audacious and try and move into turns 13 or 14 as well. Don't try and make a move through that S section, but do expect some drivers to try and hold it side by side if they're feeling a little bit dangerous and daring. But it's going to be really good, this one. One of arguably the easiest tracks to learn, but one of the hardest tracks to master. Extracting lap time is no mean feat around this circuit, so it is going to be an absolutely brilliant race here today. But let's take you trackside now, because it is racing. We are very nearly at lights out here. I need a quick drink, but I will be right back with you in just a second. Lovely. So now that I have had an opportunity to have some fluid before we get underway for what will be probably about 45 minutes. In fact, it begins now. 3, 4, 5 red lights here in Bahrain, and it's lights out and away we go as quick as you know. It is time to go, go, go here for the final time of the season as Azam leads us towards turn number 1. Is he going to hold it though versus Alpha Gully and then Alex Loafer as well, who are battling side by side the starting compounds. Everybody on hard tyres here as Azam tries to run off into the sunset here. Alex Loafer trying to put Alpha Gully under a bit of pressure there as you see Dirt and Brando battling there in the background. Side by side, quite a bit of action and squabbling here as a lot of drivers side by side here. You see in the background Tales getting all crossed up in the battle here with quite a few drivers involved. Nearly going 3 wide there. Down into the bottom of the hill, but side by side Tales, Marios, Cameron Downs and Rayan all go, and you see Cameron Downs and Rayan, or is that Marios, making a little bit of contact there as everybody seems to be getting quite a bit of contact here. Mateo down in 18th, he's not gained as many places as those like Cameron Downs who started at the back of the grid as well, but a good start for the Scotsman as things stand. Going up to 14th already, now make that 13th as he's going side by side up the hill, surely not able to hold that one. He absolutely is. The Scotsman down the inside, absolutely flying at the moment, up to 13th. That is not a bad way to start your race at all. But can Rayan try and defend this one? Well, he's got the place back. Now Cameron Downs having to fight with Marios over 15th as well. So Cameron Downs struggled a little bit on the exit there from turn 13, sorry, but not doing too bad at all as he'll try and now battle with Renz over 14th place here, but concedes that place as well. But that gap already a second between Rayan and Tales here, so they'll need to work together to try and close that gap up. It's a couple attempts to find, but not going to be easy if these drivers try to run away off into the sunset. But no real moves being made here at this present moment in time, although expect possibly a bit of a lunge coming courtesy of Renz as everybody's trying to get within that 1 second window. I don't think Rayan has about managed it, so he won't get that rear wing along this straight. That's going to be really important because if he doesn't have DRS, he will be at a disadvantage on his pace along here. You can see there, no rear wing opening for the RB in front. That means he won't be going as fast down the straight. Will lose a little bit of time and pace. So that is all he can do now. Rayan trying to hold behind everybody in this train, but out in front, watch Azam. He will be absolutely swallowed here by Alpha Gully. You would expect down the straight. You can get a lot of time down here. And absolutely, Alpha Gully soaring by and up into P1 here. And nicely done now as we head up through and down the hill once more. Rayan, Marios battling side by side, RB versus RB. This could end in disaster if these two make contact and have a real battle and squabble. It's all for bragging rights, but who's going to come out on top here? Marios, Rayan now trying to go side by side, not down the hill. Surely Marios backs off for the time being, but I have no doubt he will be trying to put the pressure back on in just a moment's time when he gets the opportunity to. But Renz doing just about nearly enough to close the gap to within a second, but I don't think he's managed it, unfortunately, so I don't think he's going to get DRS on this lap either. It appears they're burning a lot of battery to try and close this gap, but that is going to be hurting them later on in this race. They're not able to recharge that battery. It will definitely be hurting them, but for the time being, it is all attack mode for Renz, who's trying to catch up to the back of Tales in front. Trying to get this train to be 20 for 20 here. Stash though struggling to keep within the back of that train as he's just fallen outside of that 1 second window of Max von der Gies there. And Renz, once again, I don't believe he hasn't got DRS on the driver in front, Cameron Dowds, could be about to get a real good advantage here, because he now will take that P13 spot. He'll try and now close that couple of attempts he needs. He's only got to find 3 attempts here, and if he can, he will be in a very good place in this race to try and carve through the field that little bit more. But out in front, Azam leads now ahead from Alex Loafer, and then Alpha Gully in third, Yoan in fourth, Dirk, then Rydell, Brando, Ryan, Oscar, and then Casper Flag rounding out that top 10. But it's not looking bad at all here in Bahrain for Azam. He's had such great pace so far up to this point, and that pace seems to be continuing into the race. That's always a concern for some drivers, their pace not translating from one to the other. But it doesn't appear to be of concern to Azam at the moment. He's out in front by 4 tenths of a second. You see a bit of an attempted dive there from Rydell on TF10 Dirk, who's managed to fend that off for the time being. Dirk now having to try and keep an eye on what's going on behind us. Rydell and Brando now battle side by side. Brando's got the better of this one on the exit, but is it going to stay that way? He's going to have the slipstream down the straight, but he's going to be boxed in behind Dirk a little bit, but Rydell gives him the room to work with as we go down towards turn number 1. Side by side, Brando showed the door, forced a little bit wide, and that will mean that surely Rydell is going to have the run on Brando here towards turn number 4. He's got the inside line right now. Is he going to be able to pull this move off? That is really going to be precarious. Don't go try, go side by side through here. Rydell smartly backing off there, knowing it is not worth the fight, not worth the challenge. He is not going to be able to hold that position through this sequence of corners. He'll have to fight that battle another day, and trust me, there will be many a days to fight these battles tooth and nail. We've already had our first retirement. Moustache has unfortunately drawn and hung up the boots for the very last time in his campaign for this season, and what will probably be quite a disappointing campaign for him, I must say. But plenty of things to learn from and look forward to for the future, no doubt about that one. But the action, as always, on the present moment here and now, and Azam could be about to retake that race lead. Look at how close he is to the back of Alex Loafer here as we head onto that main straight once more. Down that straight, absolutely ploughing down and towards turn number 1 with absolute pace and precision, already ahead and into that P1 spot. No need to fear because Azam is here already back up in front, and Alex Loafer having to slot in behind. No real moves here at the moment from many other drivers in the field, but notice that the gap has indeed closed up between the entire field. That gap that Cameron Dowds was trying to chase, he managed it. He got within 1 second of, I believe it was Talers at the time, and then has now brought the entire field into the mix of this one as Casper Flag and Renz battle side by side. This could lose a little bit of time if they battle side by side too much, but you see there is damage to Casper Flag's front wing. That's going to hurt him through plenty of corners. This one not particularly, but through those longer right-hand corners, that is really going to hurt the pace from Casper Flag. So watch him struggle through the corner we're about to go on to. This very long right-hander will really struggle due to the lack of downforce from that left end plate, although not as severe as it has been in the past, but will certainly struggle through all the right-handers here now as we head on towards lap 7 of 29 here. Well, Alex Loafer still having to try and challenge that P1 spot, but Azam doing a good job at the moment to hold it, but down the inside, Azam defends the place supremely well. Alex Loafer, not a chance of making an attack there, but Renz could be about to make an attack here on Talers for 11th place in this race. Very nice from him as he looks to make the move. And very nicely done. No, not so nicely done, as they both get tangled up. Renz and Thales both get tangled up with one another. Thales not moving very quickly. A virtual safety car has come out on that one. A 10-second time penalty for Marios for collision with Renz. That is not what you would expect to see. Not ideal for Marios. That's pretty much his race in the bin, unfortunately. And I would say probably through no fault of his own. I would argue that maybe Renz could have even come onto the track dangerously there, but we will have to wait and see what the stewards have to say on that one after the race. But already only 7 laps in, a bit of controversy, a bit of chaos, and oh no, a drive-through for Volokongan. That is not great either. I believe Marios may have also got a drive-through. I didn't quite see, no he didn't, but wow, Volokongan with a drive-through penalty. That's really not ideal for him or his race. And unfortunately for Marios, for Renz and for Thales, they won't get to pit under that virtual safety car to change their front wing. But oh, Alex Lofer and Alpha Gully going side by side, battling once more over this P1 spot as Azam is in third at the moment. Renz has hung up the racing boots for the final time. Alex Lofer nearly going off the road and really not having a great time of it at the moment now, as he'll fall to 4th here as Yoan goes into 7th. And I know I've just pronounced that name wrong, and I will do that forever and ever. Wow. It is not doing too bad here on lap 8 of 29. We've already had a virtual safety car in this race due to an incident between Renz and Thales in this race, but Volokongan Marios got caught up in that one, and unfortunately Volokongan got himself a drive-through time penalty. But as we head on to what will be lap 9 of 29, it is not looking too bad for quite a few drivers, and one in particular is Cameron Dowd, who is running in 11th place at the moment, about to get himself into the points if he's able to. But Azam back up into P1. Alpha Gully going to fall to 3rd here. Could it be 4th as well, as Alex Lofer looks to try and put a bit of pressure on, but Dirk is battling with Alex Lofer to try and take a bit of pressure off of Alpha Gully. A 10-second time penalty for Thales, speeding in the pit lane. That's a 3rd retirement in this race. We're not even a 3rd of the way through. We've had 3 retirements. That is unfortunate for those. Max van der Kiest and Rayan battling there in the background side by side. Alex Lofer and Dirk battling side by side. This is sublime racing for the pair of them to go side by side through there. That is a tricky sequence to go through side by side. They've managed it beautifully. Surely one of them gives way into here. Oh, and it is Dirk who gives way, but he's actually played a bit of a dummy, as there's a mistake from Alex Lofer into turn 10 and 11 that has allowed Dirk through. Brando thought about making a move for a second as well, but to no avail for him. But Dirk down to 4th. No, Alex Lofer, sorry, down to 4th after a bit of a mistake there, and one that I don't think he would have liked too much. That would have put a little bit of strain on those tyres, picked up a little bit of marbles onto those tyres as well, so gonna just have that little bit of extra hurt and insult to the injury there for Dirk, but recovering nicely back on the pace immediately, and Ewan back on the pace as well, as he is doing a really good job now, trying to set that benchmark out in front as he goes a bit deep into turn number 1. You see Alex Lofer go deep into turn 1 in the background as well. Everybody going deep into turn 1 on this lap, and this could really compromise Alex Lofer, who's going to fall down to 7th now. Let's Ryderdale through, and now has gone from 4th to 7th in the span of a couple corners. Oscar as well, going side by side with a Red Bull here. That's Ryan he's going to battle with. And like a true jewel in the desert, Ryan will try and hold it around the outside. Is he quite able to? He's not just able to, but very, very close and very much nearly able to make that move stick. So lovely done from him, but now we are really beginning to pick up pace in this race. Barrios, the fastest lap of the race here, as he is on the set of soft compound side, so he has got the best pace of the field for the time being, but a lot can change between now and that checkered flag, ladies and gentlemen. A lot can change. Well, here we go. Back on to that long main straight once more. Ewan out in front, but Azam, Alpha Gully looking to try and chase, trying to find that slipstream and get that move nicely done. Well, Azam hasn't even had to think about it. He's made it with plenty of time. What about Alpha Gully? He's made it as well. Dirk can't even contemplate a move down the inside for the time being. Alex Loafer once again struggling a little bit there into turn number 1, but not going to have really too much of a compromised exit there. There's Cameron Downs, Cesara and Mateo do battle. And look at Cesara defending like an absolute lion versus Cameron Downs. And beautifully held from the Norwegian driver, who has done a sublime job to hold that P10 spot, and will absolutely be feeling very satisfied with that defence now. He's got to try and do it again and again for 19 more laps in this race, and he can have that P10 spot all for himself. But I dare expect to see Cameron Downs and Mateo make their way past sometime in the near future, within the next couple of laps I would have thought, but for the time being not much for Cameron Downs and Mateo to do other than make the moves count where they can. But Azam once again out in front, Alpha Gully second, third, Johan, then Dirk in fourth, Brando in 5th, Rydell 6th, Alex Loafer in 7th, then Ryan, Oscar and Hazara rounding out your top 10 towards turn number 1 once more. Alpha Gully overtakes Azam. Brando was thinking about an overtake here, but look at this 3 wide moment that we've nearly had there as Dirk, Johan and Azam all do battle here. And now up towards turn number 4. Anyone going to make a move here? Well, Dirk very close to making a move on Johan here. And a mistake from Azam has really opened that door. Damage now to Johan's front wing as well is really going to hurt his race and his chances of getting a decent place out of this one. Has looked down the inside. There goes Azam on Brando. This is a lovely dive down the inside there. It's one of the spots where it's difficult to make a move, but they will absolutely try, and if they can, turn number 8, it is not an easy place to make an overtake, but they will absolutely try as they may. But Azam now trying to apply that pressure onto Dirk, and Brando ahead. Dirk, though, out of that 1 second window. Look at Alpha Gully out in front. 1 second, that window, that magic 1 second that he wants to try and hold. Well, he's going to have to try and just close that little bit more if he wants to have that P1 spot. He's got 3 attempts to try and find, but you see Brando here is going to make that move very nice and easily. Then you see Azam making the move as well. Could this be a bit of a fall down the order for Dirk now, as he'll fall to 4th, now 5th? And could it be even lower? Could it be 6th as Rydell tries to sneak down the inside of both of them? Now they go side by side on the exit. Dirk could find his way back up into 4th. Or will it be? Has he had a compromised exit? Will he be overtaken not once but twice? Well, he's overtaken by Johan, but look at the switch back from Rydell here. He's absolutely soaring at the steering wheel as he takes it through the trickiest section. The man who's limping with damage here, Dirk, is fighting with absolute might. He is trying every trick in the book. He's trying to defend with his absolute life here. He is doing such a sublime job. Right at elbow, down the inside at turn 11. That is not a place you see an overtake at, but he has absolutely pulled it off. He has done it. He has sealed, signed and delivered a Absolutely beautiful overtake, but look at Dirk trying to hold it around the outside, but surely he's not going to have the grip there. Ryderdale set free. Alex Loafer now having to try and do the same strategic game with Dirk, but now they'll touch ever so slightly. Dirk gets thrown off. He's now down to 8th in this race. Now the struggles will really kick in with that damage as he has to try and limp with that front wing damage to his car, but not ideal at all. But look at the pace that Johan is displaying with that damage to his wing. There's a yellow flag at the final sector. That is Casper Flack, who's had a spin there at the final bend of the lap. Alex Loafer they're going in battling with Ryderdale here over 5th and 6th. These are some high points paying positions. They're going to want every single one of these points because that could make the difference between staying or going when it comes to next season. They are absolutely going to want to be here at the creme de la creme of PlayStation Racing. So let's see what they can muster between now and the checker flag to try and bolster their chances. But look at the man out in front, Brando. He closed that gap beautifully. Alpha Gully having to try and defend it like a lion. But Johan is in a really difficult situation here. He's got 2 seconds to try and find versus those 2 cars in, well, those 3 cars in front now of Azam, Alpha Gully and Brando, who could be driving off into the sunset here because of the damage to the Red Bull's front wing. It's really causing him space to struggle, and that means he is slowing down everybody behind with him. Dirk now down to 10th. He is really beginning to struggle with this damage, but he'll try and hold this place versus Oscar into the final bend. Not quite able, and look at Matteo trying to slip down the inside. Can he manage it here? The Ferrari, he wrapped up the title last time out in Vegas. He can't make the move there. He's boxed in. He now has to, well, not really do much here as they go 3 wide into turn number 1. That is very, very sketchy stuff. Now on the exit, what's it going to be? Dirk heads these 2. Cameron Dowles ahead of Johan into that 6th place as Alex Loafer now into 4th. Matteo, though, really struggling a little bit more in this race here as he's currently in 11th place. There you see behind him Oscar, Dirk in front, Hazara in 9th. This is looking to be a real nice little scrap between this pack of the field, but there are battles up and down. Alex Loafer, though, trying to close that gap nicely. He's doing so by a couple of attempts each corner, a couple of attempts each lap. That is what he needs to do. He's got just 5 attempts to find now to try and get himself in that DRS window. That's what he needs to do here. Right. Here's how we are looking. We have just crossed and just about to cross properly over halfway distance in this race. Azam leads us at the moment, but there is a real battle here between Brando, Alpha Gully and Azam over this one. Alex Loafer in 4th, Ryderdale 5th, 6th Cameron Dowds, Johan, Ryan, Hazara and Dirk rounding out the top 10. Then Matteo, Oscar, Max von der Geest, Ryan and Volokongen. Azam though now falls down to 2nd. Ryderdale getting a bit of breathing room, fortunately, thanks to Cameron Dowds and Alex Loafer battling side by side here, but they won't lose too much time as they sensibly and strategically pick their battles, but it's going to be difficult to catch up to those in front of Alpha Gully, Azam and Brando. Without a difference in strategy, trying the undercut, getting a lap extra on those tyres will mean you suffer later on, but will benefit you in the shorter term. But not going to be easy for them to pull off here. But if anyone can do it, it is absolutely going to be these trio of Ryderdale, Cameron Dowles and Alex Loafer who work together to try and get the best result here. Fortunately for them, Johan, who is now behind, has his damage, so be difficult, but we expect to see drivers into those the pit lanes soon to change off of those hard compound tyres. Casperfleck did so 2 laps ago onto a set of mediums. He's showing some decent pace at the moment. Who will be, though, the first to jump the gun, try something different in this race? Well, doesn't appear anyone is just yet, but give it a couple of laps and we will see absolutely somebody rolling the dice here as the action continues. Matteo and Ryan battling now. Ryan taking 8th place from Matteo here. Now they'll battle up the hill, but no response from the Ferrari on this occasion. Not able to hold and try and take that 8th place back. Notice though that Cameron Downs is in a really good spot in this race. He's in 4th at the moment. Matteo in 9th, and then also look at the man who's 2nd in the championship at the moment. That is someone who we really want to keep an eye on, because runner-up in the championship is where Cameron Downs has been before, but Renz is occupying that one at the moment. But with Renz out of contention, all Cameron Downs has to do is score 3 points. He will then be 2nd in the championship, which will be absolutely maybe a bit of a consolation prize, sure, but I'm sure he will not scoff at that at all. But he's looking quite likely, providing he gets 3 points, that he will do it. Matteo, though, struggling a little bit with that last to first strategy, but he is having a good race. Well, I believe we have seen the first pit stop. No, we haven't. I thought we saw a driver come into the pit, and it's just because they all go onto the side of the track. It looks really confusing, but Azam has been overtaken by Brando once again here, and now he will have to try and battle away once more as Cameron Downs, Ryderdale battle once more. That gap, though, increasing. That is not what they want to do. They want that gap to be decreasing over time. They're going to have to try something different here, looking, I would say, probably at an undercut strategy, or they could try the overcut for those all-important fresher tyres, get themselves some better pace towards the end of the race, push that a little bit harder, but these guys have got to work together to try and get that strategy spot on. Pinpoint perfect, pinpoint precision is what they're going to need here. But at the moment, a nice job and in front from the front three, battling over the podium places. So, here we go, onto the main straight. Once more, the action resumes, the drama resumes, and Azam is absolutely going to be making that move. As we see the first pit stops, Alpha going into the pit lane, followed by Cameron Downs, Ryderdale, Alex Lofa, then Matteo, Hazara, Ryan, Oscar, and Rayan. That is a lot of the field into the pit lane. Everybody who's come into the pit lane onto a set of hard, not hard compound tyres, a set of soft compound tyres, which is not necessarily what I expected. I thought maybe the mediums would be the safer bet till the end of the race, just to guarantee yourself some longer pace, but everybody disagreeing with me there, all onto the set of the soft compound tyres. You see Marios, though, has been looking quite good on his soft compound tyres as he makes the move on Casperfleck, who comes into the pit lane and retires. Disappointing there. That is our 4th retirement for the evening. But Azam and Brando not battling on this lap. They are going to work together to try and get the most out of it. So here we go. It is now do all right time for their race. Do they want to build a bit of tyre offset, have an extra lap or two on softs, or are they just going to respond as soon as they can? Well, they're absolutely taking option B, responding as soon as they can. You see Brando almost tag the rear end there of Azam. So really interesting there. Johan continues out on his compounder tyres, as does Max von der Gies. But Alpha Gully, he is the man who you want to watch because he has been on these tyres for a lap now. He has also got that undercut strategy versus Brando and Azam. Where will he come out in this one? It is absolutely worked out for him as he now leads the race here. Not by a huge amount though, only by 1.1 at the moment. So a bit of time gained, but not a huge margin. So it is going to be difficult to try and extend that gap to over 1 second now. But look at the way that it has really brought in Alex Loafer, Cameron Downs, that train, that giggle of cars into the frame here. Now, as long as Azam can stay within 1 second of Alpha Gully, it is everybody in contention for the race win here, as now we are getting towards that critical point in the race where the action will pick up even more and the drama will get even higher. And you see there, Azam, no DRS down that straight, so the gap clearly just a little bit too big at that detection point just before turn number 10, that he wasn't able to get that advantage. But you see that he has closed up a fair few temps in that sector alone. He will now absolutely get that rear wing open. Brando as well will get that rear wing open. In fact, everybody down from 3rd all the way down to 11th will get the benefit of DRS down this straight. They're all very close to each other. They're all going to be fighting to the checker flag now. Alpha Gully though making the move on making the move on Alpha Gully nicely up into 3rd place. Now, what can Alpha Gully do to respond? Can he respond as well? Remember, he's got an extra lap of wear on his tyres that will hurt him every single lap. Meaning his pace is just that little bit slower versus those in front. It will cause him to struggle just that little bit more on that very final lap of action. But Azam doing a nice job at extending that gap as much as he can to try and build himself a bit of a buffer, build himself that safety window that he needs to try and hold this one all the way up until the checkered flag. That's 6-7 temps. That is not bad going. 8 temps now. That is looking a really healthy little gap for him to have going down that main straight. If he can maintain that gap lap after lap, the sky is absolutely the limit. It could be a nice and easy win for this man on your screen right now in the Alpine. He's doing a sublime job for the time being. And Casper Flack, his fastest lap time could be about to be decimated as I think that might actually be Alex Loafer, sorry, his fastest lap it is. And a 10-second time penalty for Max von der Giest as he came into the pit lane. But now Hazara, new fastest lap of the race. And Max van der Giest, your 5th retirement for the evening, down to 15 runners in this race now. And only one driver left on the hard compound tyres. That's Johan, who is currently in P1 for the time being. Azam Alpha Gully not swapping places on that occasion. And no surprise there. Azam building a very nice little buffer window. But here we go into the final couple of laps here of this race, and I do want to know what your prediction is for the race winner. Do get it in, please, as I would love to see what you guys think of this race. Who you think is going to win it? All of the thrills and spills here. Let me know. I am absolutely dying to hear your thoughts and feelings towards this race as a whole. It has been such a good race. A bit of a dramatic one, a bit of a different one, but an exciting one nonetheless. But here we go, getting in towards those final few lap times here now. Azam holding off Alpha Gully. Can he maintain that towards the checkered flag though? That is going to be the really critical point in this race. Here we go though, onto that main straight once more as Azam continues out in front, but look at Alpha Gully, absolutely got the pace, the overspeed, the DRS, all of that benefit. Brando as well, having that benefit on the slipstream, getting up into what will be second place on the road once Johan has pit, but it could be third on the road once Johan's pit, as look out the way. Azam is fighting this one back here. This could really open up the door for Alex Loafer to get involved, or it could open the door for Alpha Gully to pull away into the sunset a little bit here, if he's able to get a good window, get an opportunity to dart off away from this. But look at Alpha Gully, he's within a second of the car in front, which now means he'll get DRS. You should see here that the Red Bull lets everybody through on those aging hard compound tyres. You've got to wonder what the ploy is for Johan. He may just be trying to have a couple laps at the forefront of the field, just for a bit of bragging rights. I led a couple of laps here. Didn't win it, but I led a few laps. That must mean I'm good, right? Ryan, Dirk swapping places. They're having a real old tussle and a real old battle here over 12th and 13th. You would think they're fighting for points the way they've been fighting over the last couple of laps. Hammer and Song, these two. But they are fighting for positions outside of the points. But look at the way Ryan is going to go down the inside on Dirk. Make that move up into 12th. Johan comes into the pit lane and retires. So he is now the 6th retirement of the day. We're going to have more retirements than finishes at this point, as we see Rayan also into the pit lane. I'm not sure what's caused that one at all. I think maybe just a decision based off the fact that he wasn't going to score any points, maybe. I'm really bizarre from that, but look at this battle that we're getting here as well between the top 5 now, as things are really heating up in this battle. Alex Loafer around the outside of Cameron Downs. Can he hold this one down towards turn number 10? Could he dive it down the inside at turn number 10? Well, the Scotsmen, they're going to try it. They're absolutely going to. And they've managed to hold that beautifully. Look at the way Cameron Downs, though. He's got such a punchy exit out of there. He's got the slipstream. He had the DRS. He had everything he needed. He had the real blend to take it far into the corner and a better exit out of it. So Alex Loafer has to settle for 5th for the time being. Cameron Downs keeps that 4th place, but plenty of time for that to change. We still got 5 laps left of this race, and well, anything is absolutely possible here. Brando up into that P1 spot and ahead of Azam once more. Alpha Gully also looking to try and pounce on the Alpine in front. The man who's been on form so much, Matteo, looking to try and battle with Alex Loafer as well. Both of them on form as well. Alex Loafer has been really good since his call up for PSF1, just as a reserve, but he has absolutely shown some real pace, some real talent and real potential. I do wonder if we will see him in PSF1 next season, but now things are really beginning to look really juicy here for all of these drivers involved. Look at the way they are beginning to squabble and fight. They are really beginning to put a little bit more aggression and pace and urgency into all of their actions here in this race, as we are getting towards that final few laps, that kind of burning embers of this race. And well, those burning embers could turn into one big inferno at the flick of a button here, really. It is looking really good for everybody. Johan, unfortunately, not particularly happy about the damage he got and the impact it had on his race. Saying there's pretty much been no race that he hasn't got damage at. So disappointing for him to see him not particularly happy. But look at Azim, who's about to make it one move, and then Alpha Gully, who makes it 2 moves on Brando. Could it be a 3rd move on Brando? As look at the way Cameron Downs is really trying to position the car to try and slingshot an overtake here on the Ferrari in front. Is he able to, though? No, the Ferrari's thinking about a move on the car in front of him. Alpha Gully really having to fight now for this one. Could even have to fight versus Cameron Downs. He absolutely is. Cameron Downs, the Scotsman, up to 3rd. Now into a really good place in this race. What can he do now? to try and take this win. He's already pretty much wrapped up second in the championship as long as he scores 3 points, which is looking like it will be pretty likely as things stand. But Cameron Downs is still got a few more laps to go to try and get that little bit more, to try and end that season on that really high of a top step of the podium if he can. But there is certainly a couple of drivers looking to try and get in the way of that. Brando and Azim doing a really good job out in front. You may not be able to escape Azim, but you can overtake Azim. So what can Brando do? Back onto that long main straight once more. Can the Ferrari make the move on the Alpine? You'd like to think so with how close he is. The rear wing opens nice and wide, uses a little bit of the battery, and easily up and ahead there of the Alpine. What about Cameron Downs? Can he make the move on his teammate? He absolutely can't quite manage it there, but he has set himself up with a very juicy exit, a very punchy exit. What can he do? He has to go to the left-hand side. He could dummy the switchback. He absolutely could manage the switchback, but he's not able to get the rotation there to try and make it work. Brando holds that P1 spot. Azim in second, then Cameron Downs in third for the time being. Then you see Alpha Gully and Alex Lofa there in fourth and fifth there, but Alex Lofa battling now with Matteo, who takes fifth place away from the Kick Sauber, but certainly Alex Lofa will not go down without a fight. Marios, another retirement from this race, unfortunately. I'd expect as well to see Volokongan into the pit lane to retire soon as well, but really has been a disappointing end to the season for Marios as well. But battle here really livening up for many of these drivers, and well, all to play for between now and that checker flag for pretty much the entirety of the top 10. Pretty much everyone, first to eighth, got a really good chance of making an overtake here. Just keeping an eye on the yellow flag. Where is that yellow flag? That's into turn number one. Does appear though that they're able to make those moves into turn number one as Cameron Downs, Azim, Brando all battle. Matteo getting involved in this one as well. Alpha Gully could even be into the fold here as well. So the entire top five really squabbling and battling here over what would be the race win if they're able to get that high. Cameron Downs battling with his Alpine teammate. They may not really be working together, but it is in the Constructors' Championship's best interest to work together. As Cameron Downs has made the move stick. Now Matteo trying to make the move stick on Cameron Downs' teammate to try and get a third place, but can't dive it down the inside into turn number 10. That was never a move that was particularly on when you're on the same compound tyres with very similar wear. In fact, Matteo tyres slightly older, so really going to be starting to struggle, I think, here in this race. But we have just the penultimate lap and the final lap to go here. Brando out in front, Cameron Downs in second, then Azim in third, Matteo fourth, and Alpha Gully in fifth, followed by Alex Lofa. Here we go then. It is the final lap of season 38 for the very final time on PlayStation. And Cameron Downs into the lead, Azim into second, Brando trying to battle for that second place. Can he take it from Azim here? Well, he's got a very punchy exit off the exit of turn number one, but look at the exit that Azim's got as well. Matteo wants to try and take the podium as well. Look at the two Ferraris bullying the Alpine here as the Alpine trying to hold it down the inside, but look, Matteo taking that second place from last to second. That wouldn't be a bad result at all, but there's still time for things to change. Look at the way Cameron Downs is trying to ride off into the sunset here, secure himself an ideal end to the season, a win that would encapsulate what has been an outbreaking season for him, but Matteo as well. For the season it has been for our champion, but still things to be decided, positions and penalties to be awarded post-race, but Cameron Downs has certainly done everything he can to try and take this race win. He may not have taken the pole position. He may not have even tried to take pole position, but he has absolutely had a brilliant race. A race to remember. A season to remember. Maybe not the championship, but it's certainly a season that he will take for very many years to come. Matteo, our champion, in second. Brando, third. Azim in fourth. Hazara, fifth. Alpha Gully, sixth. Ryan in seventh. Alex Lofer in eighth. Ryderdale, ninth. Oscar then in 10th. And then Dirk and Volokongan rounding out the grid. But Cameron Dowds wins once more. It may have not been his best season. It may not have been the season he wanted. He may have wanted that championship, but ending it on a win is not bad. To end it for his third win of the season, 3 wins out of 12. That is not a bad season for him. He will absolutely take that. But what a race, what a season. Season 38 done and dusted. What a season. Well, let's see if we can get our podium drivers in for an interview. Yeah, let's absolutely see in 2 seconds. Well, taking to the podium for the final time in season 38 is Cameron Dowds, who is your race winner here in Bahrain. Is this a sign of things to come when we return here for the first round of the new season? Well, we'll have to wait and see when it comes to that one, but it is certainly something people will be keeping an eye on. But what a good race for Cameron Dowds. Sets him up well for that season opener for season 39. Your full race results would come up on your screen, but for some reason have elected not to. Well, that is interesting. That is not something that happens typically. Well, let's us try and hear from our podium place drivers. Cameron Dowds. Well, hello Cameron. Firstly, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Lovely. Well, maybe not necessarily the season to remember you would have wanted, but hey, it is a race to remember to end it off. A great race win. And maybe a sign of what the season opener could look like for you. Firstly, from your perspective, how was the race?
Yeah, the pace was really good. I got a bit stuck when I got behind Hazara. He was just fair play to him. He defended on me for a long time. I was pretty easily making moves up until that point, but when I came behind him, I was stuck behind him for quite a long time. And then I knew I'd have to probably do an undercut because we were gapped from the top 3 or 4. And then it worked out perfectly because when the others came out behind Gully, they came out in his DRS. So then it was back in the DRS train. And I knew I'd just have to be aggressive and go for the moves. And yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah, it was a really good race from you. Obviously, you took the decision to start further down the grid. I mean, you've secured second place in the championship due to Renz's retirement. It's another season as a runner-up. Next season, is it your season?
I mean, I hope so. I've been saying for a few seasons now that I've thought I would have won, and I've not. Matteo's he's just always there. I don't even know how. Even when he's had a bad qualifying, he just Jeddah, for example, I have no idea how he managed to get up there, so fair play to him, and he just did a better job this season, and I'll just have to try and do better next season.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, the fact that Bahrain rounds off one season and kicks off the next does mean that we have a good idea as to how good your pace will be to kick off next season. So it could be a flying start for a flying Scotsman. I will let you go and enjoy the race win, but thank you very much for being a real standout driver in season 38, mate. Enjoy it.
Yeah, thank you.
And now, let's try and hear from our second place driver and season 38 champion, Matteo. Firstly, mate, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
I absolutely can. Now that you've unmuted, I absolutely can. Well, last to second, maybe not quite the last to first you'd hoped and said about in the Discord. A little bit disappointed not to take P1?
Yeah, of course. Every race I go out there, my aim is to win, obviously, even when there is nothing to play for, basically, because, of course, the championship was wrapped up in Las Vegas last week. But yeah, just wanted to have a bit of fun, try, something different because I didn't really want to practice for this race with everything being wrapped up. So I just said, I'm just going to do a bit of laps of race just to get into the rhythm. And yeah, turned out to be a fun race as I hoped for. I had good fun making the moves in the train. Of course, there were some panic moments because in some laps we lost the DRS train from the lead. But yeah, just decent strategy, getting back into the train, and then just had fun fighting with others.
Yeah, absolutely. It looked like you were having a really enjoyable race, and to come all the way back up to second from last just kind of goes to show your amazing pedigree and your amazing pace. Obviously, I mentioned to Cameron, is next season his season? The pace from today does indicate the start of next season because it is Bahrain to obviously kick things off. Are you feeling confident that next season will be another really strong season for you, another season where you kind of wrap the championship up and kind of have things under control, or do you think that the calendar, the circuits, they may not suit you as much as you like?
Well, of course, Bahrain being the season opener for next season as well, it's a good sign because after tonight's race, it indicates that I will have good pace most likely. And yeah, of course, I will do qualifying in that race. So hopes are high for the next season. Obviously, the goal is to actually defend the title this time and not pull off a stinker like in season 37. But yeah, of course, I think next season we will lose Rance. So at the moment, it seems like me and Cameron will be the two fighting for the title. But yeah, of course, you never have to discard the other drivers as well because Azim has been in really good form lately. Sergio is coming up from F2 as well. I know him and he's a really fast driver, sometimes even faster than me. So yeah, of course, the goal is to have a calm championship even though I never take it for granted. I didn't even take it for granted in Las Vegas last week. So yeah, of course, the goal is to get a good lead as soon as possible, but I know that might not be possible, and I will do everything to maybe even improve the results of this season and always be on the podium.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've had such a good season this time out. It's difficult to think how you can even try and better that one next season. But I'm sure if anyone is going to be trying to have the absolute perfect and best season possible, it is going to be you. Go and enjoy the second place. Maybe not the win you wanted, but you've still had a real season to remember. So go and enjoy it, and we'll see you next time out in Bahrain.
Thanks, Byron. Also, congratulations to my two drivers because to have good fights, you gotta have good drivers on all sides. So, congrats to them as well. And GG's to Cameron for us pulling off a 1-2 from last positions.
Yeah, lovely. Well, Brando, you are the third place driver for the race today. It was a real good battle throughout. How was it from your perspective?
Well, from my perspective, it was a fun race for me because I was always fighting for the win. In the first stint, I tried to take some overtakes, and I was P4, and then I copied Hazim in the pits for staying with him. Then in the second stint, I tried to be first in the last lap, but maybe I could have managed the situation better because I let Cameron wins, and yeah, I maybe I could have done better with maybe a win or P2.
Yeah, absolutely. But the pace of the two that finished ahead of you was really, really good, really strong today. And obviously that's why they're P1 and P2 in the championship. At what point was their pace a real concern for you? And did you kind of think there's a chance that I'll finish behind both of them?
Yeah, and finally I've got a podium in this tire after 3 seasons, I think. So it's good for the future.
Yeah, absolutely. And kind of looking at that future, what do you think next season's calendar suits you? Do you think you're going to be really strong next season, and especially with tonight's result, is it a sign of things to come?
For me, the calendar is good because there are bad tracks like Bahrain and China, but in the others I'll try to be at the front of the grid like in this race, and maybe will be my season.
Absolutely. Well, here's hoping it is your season, mate. But take care, enjoy the third place, and we'll see you next time out back in Bahrain.
Thanks.
Well, what a season it has been, and what a podium to round things off, as pointed out by Brando. His first podium in 3 seasons. That is quite an extraordinary feat, as my light decides to turn itself off. There you go. Let's make myself look a little bit more normal. There you go. So, what a season we've had. We had such an amazing 12 rounds of racing, but we still have 39 still to come on F1 24 and a 9-race calendar still to go. Bahrain will pick up where we left off in Bahrain next time out for the first round of the new season. Then Brazil, Belgium, China, Austria, Britain, Singapore, Mexico, and then Abu Dhabi to finish off the season, and then hopefully take us into F1 25. But we've got a couple of weeks, nearly a month until the new season gets underway. February 24th is when that new season begins. Sign-ups are already open. Returning driver, make sure to get your sign-up in sooner rather than later, because the sooner you get it in, the sooner we can sort it all out and get you in your tier. But PSGL, that is it. It is done for season 38 on PlayStation. It has been my honour to cast with alongside everybody who's been on this season. Obviously, a big shout out to Evan. Couldn't have done it without him. He has been an incredible person to have alongside me for the last few rounds of this season. But season 39 is going to be even better. We are going to take ourselves to even more new heights. But until then, when PSGL returns with season 39 back in Bahrain for round number 1, a new season dawns. Bye-bye.